Ark Wildlife Trust are passionate about caring for our native wildlife and recognise the great value of education. In 2010, they were the proud winners of the Tauranga 2010 Trustpower Community Services Environment and Heritage Award and have been nominated for this year's Westpac Tauranga Business Awards. Sue, the Archangel, is about to share some important messages with this group of young preschoolers who are eagerly listening to her every word to learn more about wildlife, responsible pet ownership and our environment. Sue shows them some powerful images of the horrific impact that pollution can have on our wildlife.
Yeah, he's got oil on him.
And I can see black on it.
Yep, absolutely. So when they came into the centre, they would be cleaned with detergent and then with warm water. And generally after about 6 or 7 times, the oil would start to come off, and then they just need to be fed and looked after. Of course, they couldn't be released back because there was still so much oil in the environment, and they would have just got oil again.
What do we have here? Does it get much cuter? 2 baby white kittens, just no more than a week old. Having lost their mother, they'll need a lot of attention. Now Dr. Lisa and Super Sue have to dash off to the Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre to check in on how some of the patients are doing.
Thank you very much for letting us come. It's a big privilege and we absolutely loved it.
You're welcome.
Nice.
On the way, Dr. Lisa tells us one of her heartwarming stories.
So we're just on our way to visit Chrissy. Chrissy's one of our fabulous ARC volunteers and she does amazing work rehabilitating our wildlife. Some of our volunteers are just incredible. They work so hard at keeping all these hungry mouths fed and rehabilitating all the birds and wildlife. One of our volunteers, Jenny, years ago, she had a seagull that flew into a window, and so she gently put it into a box and just let it rest overnight, as we often do with birds that have been injured in that way. And the next day, she gently opened the box, picked up the seagull, threw it into the air to liberate it, but unfortunately the seagull plummeted back to earth because it hadn't made it. Sad story. But they're happy stories. Wildlife rehab can be relentlessly unforgiving, but a lot of the time we have happy stories and we get animals released back into the wild, and some of those birds that are really comical are shags. One time I had Jason, our SPCA inspector, bring a shag in for an examination. Jace always comes in for a shag. And the shag was on the examination table and we checked it out. We did the veterinary care that it needed and sent it out to rehabilitation, and my next patient was a dog. And the dog was a Labrador. It came into the room and it was sniffing away on the table. And the owner was apologetic that this doggy was so out of hand sniffing away, and I said, "Don't worry mate, I just had a shag on the table."
As we arrive at the Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre, where Chrissy, another of the Archangels, greets Dr. Lisa and Sue, and looks a little anxious by what they're bringing in the mystery box.
No. I'm allergic to brown boxes that you bring me. What's in it?
Oh,
little sweetie. Oh, well, you can be a TV star, can't you? Come on, let's go put you in the incubator. I've been doing rehabilitation now for 52 years. I did 27 years in the UK and 25 years here. In the UK I was doing birds of prey and owls, and it came as such a shock to me when I moved over here that we only had the little owl and the moorpork. I was used to dealing with great big barn owls, so this was a big difference to me. And these guys, they're only fed 6 out of 7 days. And on the 7th day, they're very, very kind, and they regurgitate a little pellet through their mouth that has all the crushed bone and all the feathers in it. So it's very easy to clean up after them. You just go and pick up all the pellets. People say to me, why do I do it? You know, it costs you money. so much time. You get no funding for it. The reason I do it is when I release a bird and I see that bird go and I think, wow, I've done that. And you just get the warm fuzzies. And apart from that, I'm just absolutely bird crazy.
They bite quite hard too. Oops, oh no, he's put a lovely little red bag.
Oh, my leg's gone very warm.
Yes, very warm. Oh, little buddy.
Good God, look at
Very warm.
the joys of keeping birds.
Dr. Lisa and Sue check back in at the clinic where Tango has been having a rough day, sleeping in the sunshine. But on a more serious note, Dr. Lisa has an urgent situation to deal with. A cat has just produced this urine sample that's full of blood. It's not a good sign. Dr. Lisa has found that the kitty concerned has inflammation of his bladder, which can be due to a variety of reasons and can sometimes be a life-threatening concern. Thankfully, this kitty is stable and should be fine with some medication until results come back from the lab and she knows exactly what's wrong. Coming up after the break, have you ever heard of a stray cat mansion? We meet an amazing couple, Adrian and Peter, who are committed to helping stray cats. We catch up with Buffy, the special dog who cares for orphaned kittens. And Dr. Lisa and Harry the cat have some helpful hints for us. Go! Energy-packed natural food for dogs and cats. Brought to you by healthypetfoods.co.nz for a healthier, happier pet.